Guys, welcome back, and gals, welcome back to Sportsaholix episode number 6. We'll just say late April 2025. Eric, how are you doing today, sir?
I'm fantastic. I'm fantastic. I'm glad we're doing it. It's number 6. I think that's great. I'm ready to go. Will, how's Los Angeles treating you?
Oh, it's fantastic. Sun came out today. It's been a rainy day yesterday, but today is sunny.
There we go. Classic LA
And the Lakers
story.
won.
The
The
Clippers
Lakers lost. They're
lost.
down. They're down 3-1. They're
No,
down
the
three.
Lakers lost. I missed the end. I was in the shower.
Oh, look at this
Clippers lost.
great.
They Jokic anyway. Yes, it Clippers thought they had a 3-1 lead. Now it's tied. They'll probably eventually lose out to the Nuggets. I'm only a Clippers fan because the tickets were $8 whenever I moved. Like the Chris Kaman years, like like way before Lob
You
City.
mean Willie Hunter's Clippers? Willie's Clippers? It's like Willie's on this bandwagon. Willie is getting on. By the way, people, listeners, you're getting to witness Willie get on a bandwagon live as it happens. He's going to get on the LA Clipper bandwagon. Will,
It was a tough loss. I mean, you got dunked on at the end. I mean, it was a very tough loss. But Harden didn't have a great game, and Kawhi's playing great. It's the
Amazing.
best series in the entire playoffs right now. It's back. Each game has been back and forth. Best series.
that's why it's your team. That's why they're your Clippers. That's why these are your Clippers.
I've watched more playoff basketball this year than I have the past probably 5 years combined. And I like I'll even the Rockets Warriors series I'm watching, and Jody's just like, what are like sports again? And I'm just like, it's Curry's like maybe his last, like he's old. Like these guys aren't around forever. Let me just soak in a couple more made threes real quick.
You got to
Right.
kind of give it up to the NBA for the playoff. The playoff play-in now really works, and it really worked this year, where it was like they were close games, they were tight. Then it's like the loser played another game, and then it rolled right into the playoffs. And it's like, look, I'm watching. It's like I think a lot of people are paying attention. I'm paying attention early.
They play
It rolled.
defense. We're watching
Right.
actual basketball. It's just so much better than the regular season, and you feel like you're watching the highest level of basketball in the world. That's the difference right there. They're trying.
Mhm.
They're earning their 47.8 million or their 77 million
No,
dollar.
actually, no. They earned their salary. They earned their salaries fucking around during the 82 games. That's them being professional, and it doesn't really matter. This is where they're playing for pride and honor. This is why playoff Jimmy Butler is a whole different thing. Willie and I have been talking about this. Like we talk about look, I'm not a Jimmy Butler fan, but I never would go against. But playoff Jimmy's a whole different thing. Jimmy Butler, playoff Jimmy, that's like Mario hits the mushroom. He just starts glowing, and it's a whole special thing to watch. I mean, like I know the Warriors aren't necessarily gonna get out of that series. They're a little dinged up. But if they do, and playoff Jimmy and Curry catch heat, man, it could be crazy in the West. It could
You
be
threw
crazy in the West. It's also Curry wins number 5 with Jimmy Butler and just Draymond. He does it without Klay
no, no,
Thompson,
no.
does it without
Draymond's on the
KD.
court, but
It's
he's not really on the court. I think his
I
stat
get it,
lines.
but it's like I got to tell you, it's like as a Celtic fan defending champs, it's like I'm not. It's like I'm taking it one game at a time. I'm not necessarily worried about the Cleveland Cavaliers in a series. But it's like if the finals were Curry and Butler, and they could beat the defending Celtics. And that's like, look, Curry wins number 5, and that's a legacy adjuster where people go, we were all in the Curry era. We weren't in the LeBron. Everyone that thinks it's been the LeBron era, it's like, no, it's been the Steph Curry. The game changed. We went to the 3 and D
You just
formation. The
wrote
game
the
changed.
you just wrote the Western Conference Finals. Warriors, Lakers. It's going to be the battle of the Bible. Whoever wins comes out on top.
If the
Oh,
Lakers can get out, if the
If
Lakers
the
can get
Lakers
out of
can
the
get out,
Wolves.
yeah.
yeah.
But that also might be just it's like this could be, it could be Ant-Man's time, or it could be, look, this could be the Luca Lakers are about to do a Undertaker WWE off the mat. Like, oh my God, is that LeBron and Luca music? Like,
Nah.
look, it's getting more and more sports. It's getting more, it's like LeBron's playing for you, man. He's putting
I
up
just
30
don't
point.
see it.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go
Tell
back to
So
something. Let's go back to something you said a few minutes ago, Eric, with the playoffs. So are they playing for free? The 82 games is their salary. So is Jason Tatum, who's
right.
making 60 million, like even if you get a finals bonus of $1 million, like he's losing money, or does he get paid on a scale per game?
This
Like
is where
as
they're playing for. This is where they're playing for pride. I mean, like, look, they first of all, each one of them, I think
I wouldn't say
there's
it's
different.
100% pride though.
Well, there is money for each round. They get
find it
paid
now.
money to
No,
play.
I know base salary, but as far as endorsements outside of the sport,
Right.
notoriety, to the victor goes the spoils here. You win a championship, multiple championships, that people want to cling on to that.
So
Yeah, I
30
mean, how much did
the
Derek
NBA.
White and Drew Holiday won a title, won a gold medal? You don't think they're worth a couple million more in sponsorships than at this time last year, who was looking to invest ad money in Peyton Pritchett, Derek White, it's like if you're a sponsorship, like, hey, that's not, that those guys are making a little bit more money now
Yeah.
they're
35 million.
champions.
If you first round, the players each get a half a million. Conference semis, 570. Conference finals, 951. Losing team in the finals gets 3.8 million.
Right. So there's money, there's purse. There's a
Losing
purse.
team, that's divided by 15. Oh, the
Sure,
team. Oh, the
this
team's
is this
receiving
is when
half a
they
million. See,
this is
there's
when they
so
do that playoff share stuff like you do but you're more familiar in baseball when they talk about, hey, the team voted today and they're gonna vote Nomar a full share even though he was he's been off the team since July 31st. Like that's what this is,
they
playoff
lose
share time.
money. Yeah. So they will
Yeah,
lose a ton of money playing. I mean, this is based. That's interesting. Why have they not negotiated that into the players, like the union?
because they're getting paid enough money for the season.
But
They
it's
really are.
2025. No one cares about rings anymore. It's all about money. That's what this
They're
just
getting
blew
the
my
money.
mind.
This
No,
is
they're
where they're
not.
playing. This is
50,000
their
a game? That's nothing. That's like Jason Tatum's like business manager gets that a game.
right. This is where people, like, look, people, I think people do, celebrities, comedians, they do hot wings for free. It's going to up their brand, like Willie was saying. It's about their
Okay.
brand.
Okay.
It's
This
like
is
it's a bring. By the way, it's a bringer room. The NBA
that's
playoffs, it's a bringer room. You have to bring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, okay, that's great. But it's like this is also like it's really where it's
wow.
really the owners. The owners are going to sell more T-shirts, playoff merch, playoff hot dogs. It's like there's a whole, it's like there's a difference between playoff teams and non-playoff teams.
That's prophetic, right? I mean, the NBA Finals is just the NBA players' version of getting on the hot ones, or
Yeah.
whatever just massive exposure. And actually, probably getting
Joel
less.
Embiid is dying to get on hot ones. Joel Embiid is killing. You know what I mean? It's like Joel Embiid. Like, look how bad Willie loves to talk about how desperate Joel Embiid was to be on a winner, was to play on the USA basketball team to get a gold
Yeah,
medal. Which, by the way, fucked up his whole season. It was like, and he didn't need every time Joel Embiid was like -6 on the court, and I'm not even a person who knows what -6 on the court means.
I was
You
about
know
to
what I'm saying? The plus
say.
minus. It's like, but I know that Joel Embiid was like giving away points every time he lumbered onto the Olympic court,
but he'll
right?
always have that video of him dunking on those Amazon employees at the park,
Right.
which
But I
is
don't know, I don't know if you know this story, but like back when they first did the World Baseball Classic, um, like A-Rod tried to get on the Dominican team, even though he's an American-born American, because he wanted to play with like Manny Ramirez and Pedro Martinez and David Ortiz. He wanted to win it because this was pre 2009 Yankee championship. A-Rod was so desperate to be on some sort of winner that he would even basically just say, "Well, my parents are Dominican, so I get to play on the Dominican team." Like, what the hell is that?
that's
You know what I mean?
Olympics. That's Chris
Right.
Kaman to bring him up two
I
times
mean,
in
if
one
it's like my
episode playing for
grandparent,
Germany.
if my grandparents are Irish, I can be a diver for like Olympic Irish diving. You know what I mean? But my grandparents have to be like from Ireland. It's like some countries are trying to get Olympic athletes in. The Dominican Republic doesn't actually need any help with their basketball team, nor, by the way, does Team USA. We didn't need Joel Embiid.
No,
Basically, Steph Curry could have showed up with Drew Holiday, Derek White, and the rest of the role players, Ant-Man and everybody else. It's like, was LeBron needed? No, it was Steph Curry's team. It was Steph Curry's win. It's like where everyone's talking about, oh, LeBron or Jordan. It's like LeBron isn't Curry. Curry changed the game. It's Curry's game now. You know what I'm saying? Jason Tatum, they're beating Curry at Curry's game. They're not playing LeBron's game. LeBron's playing like Magic's game, a 6'9" point guard who becomes a forward.
Yeah, who just morphs into Antonio McDyess for like 25%. Dude, people are scared to rebound against LeBron. It's hilarious if you watch in a game because he's just a refrigerator running around on the court.
Yeah.
The guy is absolutely enormous, but doesn't really need to see. And I think the only reason LeBron plays is just to stack his Jordan comparison resume and build that up.
Right.
But it is, look, Curry, you go to the park, kids are bombing threes. That's the other one. I would say the most influential player in the last 25 years, Manu Ginobili, Euro step, brought the Euro step. I can't play pickup basketball anymore because everyone's just traveling all over the place. And I'm just like, it's frustrating. You feel
Euro
old.
step.
I'm already playing old. I'm not fast anymore. I'm slow. I haven't really shot at basketball in a while. Now I got to worry about calling travels.
Yeah.
And so
stretch.
Ginobili, those are the two. Ginobili, Curry, most top
that's
two.
Interesting. That's interesting. That's interesting. Change the game. Yeah, that's how the game changed. Sure. But I wanted to talk. So did you guys? So the one thing I want to talk about with you guys is pranking Shador, the prank call to Shador to Sanders, the fifth round Brown. Okay. And it's like, I don't know if you know, but they've already found out who did it this morning. As we record this on a Sunday evening, Sunday morning, the NFL said they were going to look into it, which meant they knew who it was because the kid didn't hide it. I mean, there was a video on Twitter and you're going to know that's my kid. And the person who said, hey, that's my kid was defensive coordinator of the Atlanta Falcons.
Which makes sense because that's it. Like, where's that number come from? I mean, that makes a lot more sense as to how.
Because Shador had a private number that had just been given him that was for NFL teams only.
Hey, is this Shador? Hey, this is Mickey Loomis here, the GM of the New Orleans Saints. How you doing? This is Mickey Loomis here, GM of the Saints.
How you doing?
Good, how are you, man?
Good, been waiting on you.
Yeah, we have. It's been a long wait, man. We're going to take you with our next pick right here, man.
It's ain't gonna be nothing there.
Hey, but you're going to have to wait a little bit longer, man. Sorry about that.
Hello?
You got that call?
Yeah, what's going on?
Ready to go!
Say it one more time for me.
This is Mickey Loomis here, GM of the Saints.
How you doing?
Good, how are you, man?
Good, been waiting on you.
Ready to go!
Yeah, we have. It's been a long wait, man.
No, for sure.
We're going to take you with our next pick right here, man.
Yeah. Yes, sir, let's be legendary.
But you're going to have to wait a little bit longer, man.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
Ready to go!
And evidently the kid, Jax Ulbrich, got it off his dad's iPad when he was visiting the house. And they thought it was a good idea to make that call. But I'll also add to you, there's that little thing where, because the video's out on Twitter. Yeah. And you can watch the kid make the call. And he identifies himself as the GM of the Saints, Mickey Loomis, which means there's this other level of like NFC South rivalry going on that, hey, like my dad's the DC for the Falcons. And if we're going to make somebody, it's like, that would be like I called up and said, hey, I'm Brian Cashman of the Yankees, just because I want to get my rival in trouble. You know what I mean? So prank or not to prank, I thought it was cruel. I thought the kid's an idiot. I thought Shador probably he was a third or fourth.
Was it cruel?
It's a little fuck you.
I mean,
it's a little fuck you. I don't think it's cool. You know what? I'll say this.
No,
I'm not going to say it's
cool. I thought you said cruel, like.
But I did. It is a little. It's being a dick. It's being a dick for dick's sake.
Had it been in the first round, it would have gone over. But I mean, he's been sitting there for forever and ever, and finally he gets the call. And you go through all that internal emotion and be like, all right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to play for you've already got your condo picked out on Bourbon Street before the call is over. and then you find out, and it's all documented. So now you look like a fool at the same time. But
let me say this: did we not all we watched the draft because Shador fell? That's the only reason people are watching.
I watched the whole thing. I don't think I've ever watched it, and it was like, and it's like, look,
So at what point did you go, oh, this is getting sad now?
right when he went to the
I mean,
Cleveland
really, when
Browns.
that prank call came out, I mean, that was really when I'm like, God, dude, leave the kid alone.
So that's when it felt cruel. Is like he's already down and out. No, he's trying to prank call him now.
I mean, he brought all the extra, the custom draft room and all that kind of stuff. The logos,
The logos. It was this is a person. This isn't just this is a very strange situation. We've never quite the closest things is saying LeBron, Bronny. Like it was, it's like who's clearly a better player, but he's not necessarily first. He was always overrated. I mean, in my opinion, when people were talking about it, like he wasn't really in the Heisman conversation as much as his father wanted him to be early on. Travis Hunter was in the Heisman conversation from the beginning and all the way through, and Travis Hunter had an amazing, has a unicorn season. Shedeur Sanders wasn't anywhere on that level. You know what I mean? He was one of the top college quarterbacks in a very thin draft.
Look, he was Big 12 Offensive Player of the Year. He had 38 touchdowns. I mean, they did sculpt their offense, to make it not easier, but to highlight his skills. But over the last 2 years, the only victim I think in this whole thing is Shedeur Sanders. Everyone's been playing him, all of ESPN, CBS, the ratings.
Yep.
Everyone's going for all these people are watching because of him. The whole storyline. It didn't just start on draft day. It started back at Jackson State, 3 or 4 years ago.
We both know what Jackson State is because of the Sanders going there.
Yeah,
Like,
I've eaten at Stamps Burgers in Jackson, Mississippi. It's 3 blocks down from Jackson State University, and their facilities are nowhere near Odessa. Like, there's just you would want to play at that high school.
Yeah, I remember reading stories that Dion was talking about the conditions of their facilities that lack thereof.
Brought great attention there. Brought prospects money into the program. Amazing burger at Stamps. If you're ever in Jackson, go check it out. I think they close at 5, so just daytime hours.
Oh, it's a good burger then. It's like they don't even have to fuck around at night. No, we're good.
Incredible hospitality. Like, hey, it was my first time here. Oh, it's first time. Just incredible experience, and it's one burger could feed 4 people. They're absolutely. But Shedeur this whole time. If everyone's ratings boost, think of all the money he's made, everybody. And then we had to sit there and watch him just question himself, just everything. I think to land at the Browns, if somehow he can just, I don't know if he'll start, but I think that's a good spot for him. There's enough distraction there already that he can kind of just get lost in the wash.
Well, I think the best thing is the Browns you don't have the expectation game. It's like to me, he's very much like a Johnny Manziel or a Baker Mayfield, is that he's kind of small and he kind of scrambles a lot and he's kind of a playmaker, but kind of holds on to the ball too much. And if you made him the number 2 or 3 pick, like the Browns could have made him number 2. They still get him. They get a ton of other stuff. They still get him.
You passed on him. You got another quarterback before him.
Right, the Dylan Gabriel,
And that's a great challenge. I mean, it's almost like, what they gave him? They gave Shedeur Sanders like a Mike Tyson's knockout. They gave him, it's like, hey, this is what you're going to have to do. We're going to give you a QB room where you're going to have to get by.
And they actually have a Glass Joe there.
Right. You have Dylan. We got Dylan Gabriel. And then you're going to have to get by Kenny Pickett, and then you're going to have to, or the old veteran, and then Kenny Pickett. And then, it's like, and then they're also going to be like, it's imagine he's actually the game day starter anywhere in next year. It's like they still technically will have Deshaun Watson, and they'll be like, will he come back and all that? I mean, it's like the drama, it's like it's the worst thing is that they can't be on Hard Knocks because this is a drama. This is a telenovela. The Cleveland Browns quarterback room for Hard Knocks would be something to see. But the competition would be something.
Well, the Cleveland Browns haven't really had a quarterback the past few years because they all keep getting hurt throughout the season. Remember Jameis Winston for a while.
They've never had a quarterback. There's that great there's a picture I've seen with the guy that's got every jersey from every Browns
Yeah, yeah.
starting quarterback from 2000. And it's just
Right. Since the Tim
35.
Couch,
It's
since they
crazy.
drafted like Tim Couch in 99, 2000. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he flipped off the fans. But
And
now the Browns are like, we want all the quarterbacks.
They have them all. I mean,
they got
went through
5 quarterbacks.
just
Well,
wait.
right.
By week 4, there's two quarterbacks go down. Next,
Right.
They also
whoever.
have to trade. They're going to trade. They're going to trade somebody because it's also the Saints kind of need somebody.
Yeah.
It's like who knows what's happening with the Colts or the Steelers? Is Aaron Rodgers going to? Aaron Rodgers is going to the Steelers. He just is. Pretty sure. That's where he's going.
See, you said pretty sure at the end. You know,
It would just be nice, just so we
Vikings.
wouldn't have to keep talking about Aaron Rodgers anymore. I mean, this is why when you go camping, when they say put out your campfire, just piss on it. Make sure the whole campfire is out. You don't want it smoldering in the off season for months and months before it decides to either become a fire again or officially go out forever. So
That's what Aaron Rodgers' career is. It's the fire that won't go out.
Just
It's a forest fire.
Yeah. What is he
By
doing?
the way, now there's a weird part too where I thought there was a rhyme to it. You're like, because they also bring up, well, Aaron Rodgers fell to 24th. I'm like, yeah, because he was kind of a dick when he was a kid too. And it was like, it's the exact same reason. Like, you kind of you're not a team player, and that's what we know about Aaron Rodgers. Not really a team player.
And I just realized
he's a himself guy.
this is one of the perks of baseball. When you see a veteran flaming out at the end, they're chasing a record. You're like going for 3,000 hits. You still have some excitement. Pujols, when he was going for 3,000 hits back in 2018, you're like, man, this guy can barely walk, but he's only 63. Hopefully he'll get it this year so they don't have to bring him back next year. Whereas in football, you're like, how many? 80,000 yards? Okay, that true or false? That's the record. I have no idea. That could be Wilt Chamberlain's points scored or yards thrown by Dan Marino in 1985. Just the stats in baseball, what make baseball the superior of all sports. Anyway,
well, Caesar, no, because I'm going to tie this all together because I'm going to talk old school baseball and Shedeur Sanders. Here we go. Because when I saw that Shedeur Sanders actually has a logo, that $ squared thing, because his dad used to, some of you might remember, especially if you're old as me, when Dion came into baseball, he would draw a cash $ in the dirt of the batter's box. He did that at least until Carlton Fisk of the Chicago White Sox, who was catching, gave him a stiff arm. Is like, hey man, you're not going to disrespect the game like that. And it's like it's a weird thing. Like even seeing Shedeur's, $ squared thing, it was like it brought out the Carlton Fisk in me.
Love to get Carlton Fisk's story on that.
Say after that, did he say something like, "This ain't the slave days anymore"?
I think he probably did. Yeah. But I've come a long way. Like. Prime, I like Coach. It's like, hey, there's a certain point, and he put it up on the field. I think he did it. I literally think I think retiring his son's number at Colorado was actual bad parenting. That's how bad it was. Like, hey, dude, you can't. He does. The kid's not. It's not a retired number.
Look,
Travis Hunter.
Yes, but I'm saying if he would have just waited, think if he would have retired that number this week, then he gets a lift me up, a boost. He burned the number, and then he has nothing now to bring back in to perk him up a little bit.
That was the other point that retiring. It seemed like a weird. It also seemed like a weird pre-draft PR move in general. That they were like, it's like, hey, you don't retire numbers in spring games before NFL drafts. It's like you bring the kid back for homecoming. It's like, hey, we're putting Travis Hunter in the Ring of Honor. We're putting, It was like, what it was?
Well, I read that one of the biggest reasons why they did the jersey retirement was they were having low numbers for the spring game. So they decided that these players were going to retire their number too, so they can get more people in the stands, and not that much more people showed up. So not only was it a disaster that you retired their numbers, you only had about 3/4 of the stadium filled when you could have done it during homecoming week during the middle of the season. You do it on a spring game because you want to make a few extra bucks. You want the spotlight on you. Remember that coach for Oregon said, "We're here to win. We're not here for clicks." He was talking to Colorado. That's how I felt that's going on in Colorado now. It is like it's an Instagram college. It's social media place. It's about hype. I mean, think about it. The guy went 13-12. His numbers retired. I mean,
Well,
yeah,
let
he
me
had
guess.
close to
Okay,
4,000 yards.
and
But
this is from AI, so it could be completely made up. I want you guys to guess how many retired numbers there are in the Colorado football program, total players in the history of the program.
Now, I think now it's a total of 5 or 6 because
was
it's like
4.
before or
It
after.
was
You're
4,
saying
now
like
it's
after.
6. And how Cordell Stewart is not on
Right,
this
right.
list is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
There's
maybe
another
this
number 2 that's not on it. It's like because it's the Supreme Court Justice Whizzer White. It's
Byron
Rashawn
White,
Salam.
John Romig, Rashawn
Yeah,
Salam, Travis Hunter, Bobby Anderson, and Shador Sanders.
yeah.
And not that's crazy. Cordell Stewart has the most iconic play, maybe in football, aside from Bernie Kosar, and he's not even on this list.
Oh, that's interesting. I would say the most iconic is Cal Bears Stanford.
That's
You
okay.
know.
Well, most iconic. Let's just say that means 10 different plays.
Yeah,
Victor.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
No,
It's an interesting thing.
well, now, look, I grew up Big Eight. Okay, so that when that happened, I probably watched that highlight. That in the 5th down, the Missouri
Sure.
Colorado game where they got the extra down and to beat Missouri, I think, and go on to win the national championship in 1990. That was the Eric Bieniemy. I was a massive Eric Bieniemy fan when I was like 7 years old. For some reason, I just watched a lot of Peter Jackson, not Peter Jackson.
What's the word on Eric Bieniemy? Why wasn't his career going to happen? Something wasn't there? Wasn't
He
there?
went to
You were.
UCLA, did nothing there last year. Let me find out what AI has to say.
Oh,
Like
Willie's taking a walk.
I went into a baseball card shop in like 1992 or whenever he was a rookie and bought an Eric Bieniemy rookie card.
Oh, that's the segment we need to do. We should do a regular value on Paul Skeen's rookie cards for Willie, right? Is that who's?
Yeah, all schemes. That's right. I got like a ton of those rookie cards.
The Bears just hired Eric Bieniemy as a running backs coach as of 2 days
Boom.
ago. I've got.
But he used to be the offensive coordinator for the Chiefs. He has fallen.
Super Bowl champs.
This will be the sports card of the week here on episode 6. This is a Tony Dumas autograph.
Ball to Dumas, gets it away, makes it in. Mavericks win.
UMKC, University of Missouri, Kansas City. When I was a little kid, this guy, he ended up getting drafted by the Mavs.
Dumas, oh for 2.
Should have had a longer NBA career.
Ahead of the pack.
But yes, I just got this not too long ago. A little Tony Dumas autographed. I don't even know what kind of card this is.
Sportsaholic card of the week.
Signature rookie. There it is. Tony Dumas.
Your Sportsaholic episode 6 card of the week.
I like that. I'll do that. I've got thousands and thousands of cards, so I'll have to remember. And you guys are invited to. What about, okay, well, how about this for a segment? Games of the week. 2. I went to 2 Royals games. 1 on Tuesday, victory against the Rockies. Chris Bubich was starting. And today, Sunday, I went against the Astros. Chris Bubich was starting again. They lost 7-4. I'm going to try to go to as many Chris Bubich starts as I can this season. He's a crafty lefty. He's coming off of Tommy John surgery.
You're on Bubich watch?
I would argue the best number 4 starter in baseball. So watch out.
Let's make that argument. Let's absolutely have that argument about the best number 4 starter in baseball.
His ERA just went from, I believe it was 1.87. It ballooned to, I think, 2.89 or close to 3 now. But, strikes out. I think he walked 3 today. So then he gave up a home run. But he's only given up 2 home runs in 30-plus innings. Anyway, Chris Bubich starts. I will try to be in attendance. And I saw Karen, my favorite usher from the 2014 wild card game. First time seeing her this season. Jody and I walk in and we hear, "You're not allowed in here. You're not allowed in here." Like someone yelling at us, and I turn. Karen there with the big arms open, big smile, big hug. Actually, I might include that video. I had the camera rolling for that one.
Yeah.
But so what about sporting events? Watch anything caught your eye over the past 2 weeks? In person or on screen? Favorite?
I watched the draft,
Oh.
man. I'd never watched that much draft, and it took me. I texted you guys. I was texting you
It
guys
was
like all
great.
the way through it,
It was
and
great.
it was like one of those weird things that it suddenly came to me. I was like, wow, I've actually been watching this because of the Shador Sanders. I admitted to it. It was like, yeah, this has weirdly gripped me. I had to see. Like I was expecting him to get drafted at the beginning of the second round, and then I was expecting him to get drafted in the, okay, then the whole second day went by, and then it was like, okay, how are we gonna I was like, okay, it's day 3 of Shador Sanders,
We're doing
and it
so
was like,
next season. I say you do the draft. We'll set it up on YouTube. You can live stream the whole thing. And if we've got if we got a year to get 1,000 followers, you're in there chatting. But pre-draft, you could